I got really curious about this. I got a heap of plant proteins to send out to see what people feel in their tummy, but when I was talking to people about it, I realized that most people assume that, but I'm not. I don't just get vegans, so I don't want people to get involved in the trial because I'm an omnivore, like a bear, eat like all sorts of stuff. Like as I eat like portions of meat, a cup once or twice, that stuff's plant-based. So like I personally believe I'm on a plant-based diet, even though I have some meat, and I decidedly be vegan to actually appreciate the extra plant products. And out of the market, it's a part of the market that's been skipped because they just assume that everyone else will be consuming whey or collagen. Where when I did my big kilos and I changed over my gut, one of the major things I did is I just significantly cut back on and just portion size. But I love my meats and I love cheese and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of good nutrients in that come from them, and like part of the market that's been skipped is the basic omnivores that also like to eat predominantly plant.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things that really hit me back in the day, learning from you, and you were saying about cycling your proteins because you can build up a resistance to things, and I remember taking that on board straight away, and just cycling through whey protein to collagen, and then to a pea protein, and then back and forth. Do you want to touch on that a little bit? Why it's important? Because I think that one really helped me out in cycling through different types of proteins.
Yeah. Breakdown. So a very different amino acid profile, and they provide different combinations of nutrients. Look at the difference between collagen and some of the others as well. So collagen is what we look at as a structural collagen. If you have a look at the anatomy and physiology charts, and you learn, when they show you all the muscles, they got that big bodies with no skin on it. When you look at them from a distance, they're all red meat and white meat or white stuff. And so when you're considering protein, consider that the collagen-based stuff, so anything that's made up of collagen, that meat. So collagen allows you to build more of the fascia, tendons, ligaments, bone, and all that anatomy physiology chart. And then when you're looking at the red meat, that's built through just supplying protein for muscle protein cells, and that creates the red meat. So anatomy physiology, your collagen feeds the white part of the body, and then you actually look at using anything, soys, whatever, all different calories of protein to fuel the. You can basically go through those different types of protein and break them down and work out what amino acid sort of stuff, and what other functions. Like soy still wigs me about soy because it's like all the best health benefits that come from soy all come out of like fermented soy, like tofus and tempehs and black bean and all that sort of stuff. Problematic stuff we read about soy, or all the phytoestrogen aspects of it, and that come from things, and soy milk and that sort of stuff. And then it's also, we did a lot of other time looking at like things like glyphosate residues, or like burden onto the environment with the dodgy people that get behind certain industries. And soy was like man, it was looking. So like it's really important, if anyone does use a soy or something, make sure it's always organic and that sort of thing. So get away from all those pesticide residues. When we used to do a lot of work with collagen, we tested all the collagen for pesticide residues, and it's so high, pretty much strips out all of that sort of stuff. So a lot of it's pretty clean by the end with a pure. But when you have a look at a lot of these other macro style ones, they're not as pure. Like 80% proteins and that sort of stuff, and a lot of other compounds that we want to understand what they actually. But when it comes to plant protein, it's like really cool, because they have some profiles. And what happened once upon a time, someone decided, whey was like 100% quality, and that this is our gold standard. We're going to compare everything to weight. Chose a particular way of calculating the protein quality based on better whey, and with branched chain amino acids in whey being like 30% or something like that, said that is deficient. Yeah. And what bugged me, and like plants got a really bad rap. They weren't what we called a complete protein, meaning that some plants would miss out. Fan might be low in one plant, and therefore it's not a complete protein. But what's been have a big variety. So like with whey, for example, you've got whey. Like unless you're getting whey in sheep and donkey or like kangaroos or whatever, like getting all these different forms of whey, your profile's pretty similar. But when you have a look at plants, they're all very different. Even though you may not have a complete protein within a plant protein source, because source of nutrition, you pick up the other nutrients somewhere else. So you don't ever about this thing that the plants aren't complete protein. They don't. They're like this percentage, something like that. None of that actually matters. And now that we've learned a lot of the stuff about the microbiome, our gut bugs, to make things like branched chain. Well, they make branched. They can make other aromatic amino acids and that sort of stuff. So if we're deficient, but we microbiome, good plant-based material, they're capable of making a lot of this stuff. And then we so caught up with us, because then if you have a look at like that whole branched chain amino acid thing, off getting to a point where branched chain amino acids are perceived to be the devil. They have a lot of problems with things like depression, anxiety, insulin resistance. And if you have a look at the things like meat, and potato is the only plant that has the same file as meat. And you see the people that live on that diet of meat and potato, and they got all those like anxiety, depression, fatty livers. And I reckon branched chains, a lot of supplementation with branched chains, not necessarily compared to essential amino acids, which is the branched chains are part of as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I went off on a tangent.
Yeah, bloody hell. Well, they're good tangents, and it's like, the whole reason why we're experimenting with different things and trying new stuff. So do you want to, let everyone in on, this first trial, like who we want to be joining this? So then anyone that's watching this or watches the replay, they can, jump in the Facebook group here, because we'll have a form for intakes for this, and give us a bit of a rundown on what we're working on.
Well, I want people that are going to give us, that are actually interested in purchasing a protein of some sort, people that regularly use protein. I am interested in people that currently consume things, like want to try a plant-based protein and just see how it feels, because a lot of them may feel that they're made for vegan, and there's that perception that the vegan stuff is a compromise compared to the meat based on the established science. So I would be really interested in, like, all criteria. There's actually people that are interested or experienced or regularly, so they can give us some good feedback in comparison to what they've been doing. And would they be switching to something like this and giving it a go? Was there something that they currently do and we've got some issues? Like, commonly what I find with people with plant protein is a lot of digestive issues, bloating and distension and stuff like that. So I've got a variety of different products in the market that I want them to try, because I think I know which are the ones that what ingredient a lot of the problems. So I just want to kind of see if people are actually experiencing these problems, see if I can see that consistent pattern, and then, because I do think I may have a solution. So once we have this solution to the problem, but I just need to gather this data, but I need real people, more friends to help me, to tell me what they experience when they eat these things. But I'm really a nice mix between plant-based, like vegan, as well as like omnivores. You can't do it because you've picked your team.
Yeah.
You can't. So you're going to be omnivores and herbivores. They can be in this trial, preferably ones that purchase protein. It can give me some feedback in regards to what they may have experienced in the past and what they feel with these questions I want to ask about gut health, energy levels, satiety might happen, as well as some other symptoms that can happen as part of a. Sometimes it can happen as part of a to work out if someone's actually changing things and having a gut problem that way. That's what I want to know. And like the other thing too is like the plant protein, because when we have to break them down and get out a lot of the carbs and process them and break down all that fiber, they can go a little bit chalkier in texture compared to like whey's milk and collagen's like, I don't know what collagen is really like. It's like they don't have that chalky texture. They're very fine micronized sort of particles that dissolve. They don't actually necessarily dissolve really well once they've been highly processed, and they kind of instead. So I like to. Some people are really good at picking this stuff up on their tongue and telling us about text. Some people don't care, but I like a big variety to get the good feedback. Ask weird questions. There's going to be a few weird questions in there where you'll be answering what the hell he's asking this for, but
yeah, absolutely. Well, I reckon that's pretty sweet for today. So like, just for everyone, that is jumping on here, like this is a last minute thing to jump on here at the moment, just to give everyone an update. So I'm really looking forward to these trials, because in my previous experience being one of your lab rats, testing out all the different things in the gym, it's been like so fun just to see results in the early stages. And I can't wait to jump in on this trial. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So next week, we'll get people cranking. We'll get these intake forms worked out, and then pick everyone and send some stuff out to try get right onto it. And then we'll start chatting about some of the stuff we discover and see if we can find the patterns together. Trials is not just trial and the stuff that we give you, but also trial and the concepts and the ideas. So every time we discover something for yourself, your family, your friends, the whole point of it is it's your body. You want to gather the information and get enough data, then you can have a crack. And that's why I'm dying to get like more and more of these sort of things, and real experts that have got these very specific and niche, and our guys are just going to love it, because when they try it, they're going to, or it doesn't. But that's the point of trialing.
Yeah, that's it. That's the point of the trials. Yeah, that's exactly it. But yeah, cool. All right. Well, everyone that is watching this anywhere other than in the Facebook group, jump into the group, because that's where we're going to have all of our intake questions, and any of you guys that are going to jump into this trial, all of that stuff's going to be in there. So it's going to be a fun time, because this is all kicking off now.
And I think the next one's snacks.
Like snacks. I'm all about snacks.
Big snack, healthy snacks, but they don't taste healthy, like chippies and stuff.
Awesome tasting snacks.
Yeah. So I think I've lined up a heap of snacks first, and then I think we got some therapeutic stuff later on after that. So we got some cool stuff coming along with these trials, and it'd be really interesting, man. I'm stalling because we're going to invent some really cool shit out of this too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
save the cheerleader, change the world, isn't it?
Exactly right. I reckon we leave everyone hanging with that one, and we'll see you
save
guys
the cheerleader, save the world quote.
Absolutely.
See? Oh, you froze like a Chinaman. Look at your face. Oh.